was finally feeling like summer here in the Berkshires. The forests were green and lush, the days were long and hot, and all the Hilltown gardens were well underway. And the little greenhouse we had moved from the cabin to the office was starting to take shape. The backyard area we transformed in late spring was feeling like the sanctuary we always imagined. And when the sun fell each night, it would start to glow. And on the first night we finished organizing the greenhouse, it rained. And I sat in there dreaming of our harvest and everything this summer would hold. And we continued cooking almost every night in our new kitchen, and had Noah and Kaylee over one night for tacos. It's been a joy sharing these spaces we worked so hard to create. And it seems like every day, the plants and flowers evolve. Allie and I have been trying new projects around the office, and enjoying the simple summer pleasures as well.
Wow. Look at all the old handmade nails just poking out.
And one day I stopped by Jack's to check out some of the old wood he salvaged from his house. And I ended up buying a couple 30-inch planks and some beams for my cabin. And then I helped John set a salvage piece of concrete as a new porch for Jack's cabin. And then John and I strapped the beams to his truck and drove him to my cabin.
It was what it was, and it never got better than what it could be. But everybody was happy. Satisfaction was prevalent. I'm talking about the happiest people you've ever seen. Nobody doubted and nobody was scared. Few of them wandered, yes, but they were tracked out and found and brought back. This is life for John Buddha and Al Dempsey. Rounding the bend. Rounding the bend.
And the next evening, an impromptu celebration of Jack's new porch.
What a day and what a night. It's been a month, it's been a life. For God forgive me, I can't forget.
Are you
all these
freestyling?
nights. No, I'm just singing a song I heard on the radio.
And then on one sunny afternoon, Allie and I arrived at the cabin to build the platform for a tool shed at the end of the driveway. Part of what has made cabin projects so difficult is that all the tools are spread around the property and everything is disorganized. So before moving forward on the structure, I wanted to consolidate all the tools, fasteners, and supplies that had collected over the last 2 years. And so we cleaned up that old spruce that fell on the roadies before moving on to the shed foundation. And Old Blue was happy to help. So first we had to move the giant pile of rocks at the end of the driveway, and then we had to dig out all the corners a bit and fill them with gravel. And somewhere along the line, Allie tore her pants while lifting and was bound to her Calvins all day. We were building temporary posts with the rocks we had lying around and would stabilize things more down the line. Though after all, It's just a tiny tool shed, and I love scrapping things together.
Or this one, right here.
And as the hours passed, it started shaping up.
I'm so dirty.
And we worked well into the night before it was finished, and sat with the June bugs a while before cleaning up, taking a dip in the river, and adding the wood we picked up earlier to the pile.
Oh, the Luna moth.
Yeah. It always excites me seeing bugs at night for the first time. You get sick of them by the second night, but the first time is fun after many months without them, and a sure sign of summer. And then one day my mom told me the rhodies at the house were blooming, and she had a handmade linen hat to give away to my Patreons, and so we stopped by to soak in this second wave of beauty at their property. We did a little scouting out on the next steps of my mom's bench spot before testing out the river water. It's important to check it every day if possible. They say a dip a day keeps the mind at bay. And then a couple more evenings at Jack's helping him smooth out the spot where the crumbling house once was, and past the wildflower fields for more days at the cabin.
Oh my goodness.
And this day was particularly exciting because I had just got a wood-fired pizza oven, my brother Simon was in town, and I was hosting a little get-together at the cabin for the first time. And even though we hadn't had much rain, the grass Allie and I had planted in late spring was beginning to sprout, and soon we would have a little yard. And so today we were beginning the assembly of the shed. It's just a small metal shed with a billion bolts and panels and complicated directions, so we figured we'd have it done before the party. We took our time and we enjoyed the process, though frustration was surely barked at the tiny white booklet along the way.
He said, that'll do.
And though progress was 90% less efficient than expected, we adjusted and accepted that, and even got distracted and set the oven up before our first guest arrived. Jack. It was none other than Jack himself, and he helped with the shed, and he put the plastic washers on screws, all 2,000 of them, and it seemed like as soon as we caught a groove, damn good kids started pouring out of the forest looking for pizza, watermelon, and wine.
I was just looking at it. That's just blowing my mind.
Boom, here it is. And they hugged and shook hands and genuinely wondered how each other had been. And the air was full of hootin', hollerin', and chucklin', and hickory pellet smoke filled the air as the dough Noah made from scratch was stretched out and filled with accoutrements, as John would say. Look at this beauty coming back to life. And Mason brought a table he had rescued from my cabin and refinished, and he set it right back in its home where it would host food for us all for many years to come.
Solid pepper. I don't know what's going on.
Shutter speed.
13 doughs Noah made, and not one of them went uncooked. Ever been to the moon tower?
You see what happened?
Oh, look at you. Yeah, throw the cornmeal first, please. Oh, that was nice. Boom, man. In the middle of the street. A DDM. South of the Y. You know what I'm saying?
And way later that night on the ride home, Allie laid her head on my shoulder as dust from the dirt roads plumed, and Simon laid in the bed of the pickup, staring at the stars. And we were learning firsthand how much work we signed up for with the gardens and the greenhouse, though we were enjoying every second. And one night I invited a couple of my best friends over for backyard pizza. I don't get to see Aunt and Steve as much as I'd like, and it seems like that's just a part of getting older. But it's always a treat when we all get together again. Hey.
I see you there.
Yeah, that was a nice little pop-in.
Was that literally the next morning? I see you drop her off. Yeah.
I saw you drop her off too, dude.
And this dough was frozen from the grocery store, and it worked all right. But I was starting to think about making my own dough for these pizza nights, a thought that would later turn into an obsession. And I can't help but smile when I see the backyard of our office at Blue Hour. It truly is an oasis, and it makes me so happy to spend time there. And we continued trying new dinners as Allie researched plants and medicinal herbs, and started getting really into tinctures and other homemade remedies. And then one rainy evening in June, I stopped by my parents to pick up some plants from my dad and wait for Simon to stop by so that we could mosey by the river we grew up on and say goodbye before he headed back to Idaho for the summer.
Are you harvesting?
And now that everything we planted was growing strong, it was time to start harvesting here and there. It started with bok choy, lettuce, and sprouts, and we made a few good lunches with the fresh greens. And that was right around the time the CSA at the local farm started. So Allie and I took a break from editing to go grab our veggies and visit with the animals.
Oh, he doesn't. That's a good idea.
And every time we're around a farm, we talk nonstop about what ours will be like one day. A dream that keeps everything in drive. And when Jack told us he had finally built the rope swing, we hightailed it over the mountain on one of those showery summer eves and caught a beautiful sight in his front lawn.
Wow.
Holy shit. Yeah, I see that. You see the faded one on top?
Yep.
Saw the rocks in the ground, you're like, they all have mixed barriers, like turtles or something like.
Johnny with his nuts, dude.
Nice.
This
Right into
looks
the sun.
Yeah, I'm thinking
It was a little cold for a dip that eve, but a test run proved she'd throw a damn good kid about halfway across that pond. So we said we'd be back on the next hot afternoon. And new visitors started showing up at the backyard oasis. As I continued chipping away at Old Blue, finally tightening up her steering a bit. And the veggies from the garden had my body feeling good and full of creative energy.
I've got saxophone, photographs, collecting dust in the corners of this old room that I built to tell all my little stories. Don't wait too long. These walls are covered in stories. I say,
And then one day John asked for help with the foundation of his father's house. It was getting replaced, and we needed to prop the old house up so that they could tear the existing foundation out. And it was a glorious stretch of summer afternoons that I met him at that old red house after work, and the air smelled of fresh cut grass and sawdust. I had never done anything like this, so it was a great opportunity to learn something new in the building field.
that beam.
Is this staying? No. None of this is staying down here, right?
Well, whatever. You know what I'm saying though?
I do.
We're just taking knock this out. We're knocking this out right now.
These are some of the cool.
Really nicely, but they don't
Okay.
A safe supply of their drug of choice, along with supervised consumption sites where they can be protected from overdoses, meanwhile guiding them toward treatment and healthcare. That approach is being tried in parts of Australia, Canada, and Portugal. But in much of the U.S., addiction...
And we'd work, and John's father would stop by, and we'd take quick breaks and get back at it till supper.
So hard, so daunting, so confusing. But like for my brain, just like we started today, it was like, I know I need to do this with this ledger board and then work down because I can't figure out my down before this is done.
Yeah.
And we figured it out. It was like, why is this high? Boom! Oh my God. And it just worked. And now we're down to planar and it's going to work perfectly.
It is.
I'm just like, I don't think we need all that. I think like, this is, look how much is held right here. To the right.
Yeah.
We're golden. I'm gonna have to screw those to that because they are gonna rise.
And then zoot down the Golden Road home past the season's first hay, cook dinner with Allie, and wake up early to the sun-soaked hills.
I took out the drawer so it's lighter.
So you got it now? Okay. Well, I'll walk over there. I'm just gonna put this in the truck.
And one day before heading to the cabin, we popped into Noah and Kaylee's office, where summer sang through the big open windows above the old waterfall.
Like way more plants.
Oh, yeah.
My friend.
Right?
What? It's a lawn!
I know, it's so cool.
Oh my goodness! The lawn was coming alive, and so were the blueberries. And our goal for the day was to finish the shed and start collecting the tools.
Hooter.
And we met our goal for the day, and then I hightailed it to the old red house to meet John and finish jacking it up.
Iron Man. Alright, let's get it. Alrighty, so. Wow, 2 feet exactly by 2 feet exactly.
We nearly finished the job that night, but decided to meet just after sunrise the next morning to finalize it. And then we'd wait for the excavation guys to show up and see if our job had worked. Every time I'm up with the sun, I'm reminded how fulfilling it is to seize a day from sunrise to sunset.
Suave?
Yeah, so since I really expected to be done last night with just that one side,
Yeah.
I'm supposed to just woke up realizing, oh yeah, you got. Ooh, what was that? Oh, it's right there. You hear that?
Yeah, what was it?
It's this thing. It popped off. Well, it didn't pop off, it's just started to tear off.
Mr. Audiola has a new heart, or at least new to him. He's 50 years old, the father of 3 daughters, and banking executive.
He's 50 years old and 3 daughters. I love this the monotonic way of just going about it. I just saw a rat or a mouse come up from here, running there. Oh yeah, just the way it's supposed to too. Yeah.
Alright, come on. Watch your piston there.
And as it turned out, the old beams we set up were solid, and the job was a go.
So quiet too, right?
It is a very quiet machine.
Well, I mean, he's not.
Dude, I've never been in here.
Somebody drove a machine down here.
What?
This is 4-wheeler, man.
They are. Dude. So knowing that, John and I wandered down to the river to walk the rocks and make plans for the rest of our Saturday.
This is unbelievable.
I know.
We should have like a hangout spot.
And the tiger swallowtail butterflies were fluttering about, which is a sure sign of summer. So we all decided we'd hang at Jack's rope swing for the day. So I picked up Allie and I stopped by Prem's store at the top of the mountain to see the garden that Jack and John had put together for her.
Vita Coco, eh?
Vita Coco. Hey.
She hasn't had one for years, and the hope was that she could use the vegetables in her samosas and other handmade food. The location is a fairy tale. With the view of the red-roofed town hall and the church, it feels like you're back in time.
Yeah. Oh, this is gorgeous, right with the steam. We got a shoe here once it's sprouts.
Huh?
So many nice wildflowers.
I know. My dad planted peas, but we gotta water them.
You know, you think you're gonna get like a $50 tip, Carvin breaks out like $1,000. Whoa! Wow, I would have never imagined. So generous.
And then it was time to break in the new rope swing.
Whoa!
I loved it, Jack. I loved it.
It was an attempt.
It was just great. It was almost like what you had it mean.
I know, right?
didn't hit anything? Yep. Got it, buddy. Don't forget who you are.
Here we are at Jack's Pond.
Here's the horseflies. They're coming in. They heard about the show. They came by. Haven't been around much yet this year, and they're about to make their grand premiere as we get closer to July, folks.
All those muggy nights and humid days. Well, look at the salamander just baking over there.
And their little sunspots.
Yeah, they just love it.
Not have many enemies right now.
Predator list is low.
Just the sound of seltzer cracks. Dragonflies. The pond burps and bubbles.
Like the lazy day float.
It's Saturday and the salamanders are all around New England. Salamanders.
And you just get mad clips of them all just like, oh, hey, no.
Look at this dragonfly on the stick there. Do you see it?
Mm-hmm. Look at them flirting with each other.
Over here. You found us.
Yeah, you win us.
That was sick.
You didn't go court, but you went sideways.
I know, it was
I should have kept going, David. No!
All right. Yeah.
1, 2, 3.
That was smooth. That was so smooth.
A beauty.
that was quite fun.
Yeah. Look at he's like, all right, Kyle. Do you want me to push it?
Go for it.
1, 2, 3. Good love. Oh yeah. Dude, Jack, you gotta love it, man.
Yeah.
Jack's like, yep, that's it right there.
Go for it there. It was a simple, beautiful day by the water. The kind of summer days you wouldn't trade for anything.
Not once has that looked desirable.
And as June jumped on, more of our crops were blooming, and our evenings cooking dinner with the windows open were something I began to crave. And every morning was full of pruning and watering, and then the days were either digital work behind the computer or out filming and working on projects. And I was starting to get addicted to checking in on everything, watching our plants and gardens progress on a daily basis, and getting to know each individual one and what it needed to be healthy and happy. I found gardening to be a very meditative and rewarding hobby, though it's turning more into a way of life for us. And one day after I cared for the plants, I made a quick Home Depot run before heading to my parents to finally finish up the overlook for my mom. But first we stopped at the cabin to grab a stone bench, some tools, and do a little plant tending up there.
It is dead.
I was making a simple retaining wall to help level the spot out, and of course, soon after starting, I realized it would take longer than I thought. But that was all right, because there's not much I enjoy more than working in the warm dirt on the land I grew up on. Today's plan was to work until 6 or so, then eat burgers off the grill, and go throw a few casts at the local fishing hole with my dad.
Yeah, slightly smaller.
By the end of the day, I had the base for the retaining wall nearly done and would only need one more afternoon to finish the overlook. And that feeling of diving into the moving water after working up a good sweat is simply unbeatable.
So big.
Tiny flower.
I got one.
And before we left for fishing, my mom showed me around her garden, which she had just finished putting together.
No, they're bush beans.
She's taught me so much about caring for plants, and without her, I wouldn't have half the interest I do in gardening. And with full bellies, it was time to drive the old truck to a nice deep pool that we've fished at since I was a kid. And as we glided over cracked back roads in the golden light, the air smelled of fresh hayed fields, and all the signs pointed to the fact that summer had officially arrived.
Won't say I love you, babe. Won't say I need you, babe, but I'm gonna get you, babe, and I will not do you wrong. Living's mostly wasting time, and I'll waste my share of mine, but it never feels too good, so let's don't take too long. Well, you're soft as glass, and I'm a gentleman. We got the sky to talk about, and the earth to lie upon. Well, days up and down they come, like rain on a conga drum. Forget most, remember some, but don't turn none away. Everything is not enough, and nothing is too much to bear. Where you been is good and gone, all you keep is the getting there. Well, to live is to fly, all low and high. So shake the dust off of your wings and the sleep out of your eyes.